Did you get any good Halloween candy? My son got Skittles. We're gonna sort through some of his candy now. But I'm gonna tell you a story first. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom surrounded by deep forests, there lived a brave young prince named Ivan. Prince Ivan loved exploring nature and often rode his horse into the woods, searching for signs of magic. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the trees, Ivan saw something glowing among the leaves. It was a golden feather, shimmering with red and orange light. It belonged to the legendary Firebird. Everyone in the kingdom had heard stories of the Firebird, a magical creature whose feathers could light up the night. Ivan carefully picked up the feather and brought it back to the castle to show his father, the king. But the king frowned and said, "Bringing a feather is not enough. Capture the Firebird itself. Then I will know you are a worthy prince." The next morning, Ivan set out on a new quest, determined to find the Firebird and prove his courage. He rode for days through enchanted forests, across rivers, and over misty mountains. In an enchanted forest, Ivan met a talking gray wolf who sat by the road looking sad. Ivan stopped to ask if the wolf needed help and was surprised to hear the creature speak. "Thank you for asking," said the wolf, "but I haven't eaten for many days. If you have some bread to share, I will help you in return." Ivan cut half of his bread and gave it to the hungry wolf. And the wolf said, "I have been waiting for someone kind to appear. Climb on my back and I will take you to the Firebird." Ivan climbed on and the wolf transformed into a swift and powerful horse. Together, they raced through the woods faster than the wind. Soon, they arrived at their destination. "Here we are," said the wolf, "in the garden of a distant king. That is where the Firebird lives, trapped in a golden cage. Take the bird and be quick, but leave the cage behind. If you touch it, the alarms will ring and guards will come running." Ivan thanked the wolf and ran to the cage. Inside, the Firebird glowed like flames dancing in the wind. It was even more beautiful than Ivan had imagined. Carefully, he opened the cage door, stroked the bird, and it flew onto his arm. As the Firebird nestled against him, its feathers warmed his hand. Then it spread its wings and began to fly around him in circles. The sight was so enchanting that Ivan forgot the wolf's warning. He reached out to touch the cage and a loud alarm rang through the garden. "Who dares disturb the sacred Firebird?" boomed a voice. Suddenly, soldiers surrounded Ivan. "Don't be afraid," said the Firebird, sensing Ivan's fear. "I will protect you." And just like that, the bird flew into the sky and let out a mighty screech. The soldiers fell to their knees, frightened by the sight and sound of the magical creature. Taking this chance, Ivan jumped on the wolf, who immediately transformed back into his horse form, and they fled. They raced past fountains and through arches until they left the garden and disappeared into the woods. Ivan knew he couldn't stay in the forest forever, so he and the horse traveled toward the next kingdom. When they neared the castle, the horse said, "You cannot enter the king's court without a proper gift. Go to the stables and get the horse with the golden mane. That way the king will welcome you." But when Ivan went to the stables, he found two horses there. One was a mane of pure gold and the other was a mane like polished silver. Ivan didn't want to seem greedy, so he chose a silver-maned horse. However, as soon as he touched the bridle, guards appeared and took him to the king. "So you have come for the horse," the king said with a smile. "Very well, I will let you have him. But to receive him, you must bring me the golden horse from the kingdom to the east." Ivan had no choice but to obey. So he and the horse started their journey once again. This time, the horse said, "In the next kingdom, you must bring the princess of the crystal tower, whose tears can heal any wound." On the way to the tower, the horse warned, "Do not touch the tower or the princess's hair, or else your head will explode." Ivan nodded, promising to follow his advice. As they approached the tower made of shimmering glass, Ivan saw a beautiful princess sitting on a nearby stone. The sight of her saddened him. Tears streamed down her face, falling like diamonds onto the ground below. Ivan walked up to the princess and asked why she cried. "I am cursed to shed these tears forever," she answered, "and no one has come to help me." Hearing her sad tale, Ivan felt sorry for her and asked if she would marry him. The princess agreed without hesitation. Ivan and Vasilisa then returned to the second king, where the princess was imprisoned. When the king saw them, he grew very angry. "Ivan," he shouted, "you were supposed to bring me the golden horse, not a useless princess. Give her to the gray wolf and leave." But just then, the wolf transformed into a magnificent lion and roared, "Leave her alone. You will not hurt her." Confused, the king asked, "How is this possible? The wolf can talk and the princess brought a lion. Are you perhaps wizards?" Ivan stepped forward and explained everything to the king. The king realized his mistake and apologized. He gave the golden horse to Ivan and welcomed the princess to his kingdom. Finally, they all rode together toward Ivan's home. When they neared the castle, the king said, "You should have brought me the Firebird instead of the horse. Because with the Firebird's feather, I could have lit up my whole city and everyone would have been happy." Little did he know what trouble awaited them. When Ivan entered the throne room, the king noticed the Firebird on his shoulder and became furious. "Bring me the Firebird right now," he ordered, "or I will banish you from the kingdom." Terrified, Ivan ran to hide, but the Firebird perched on the king's head and pecked him. "Stop, Firebird!" Ivan shouted. "You don't understand. He wants to put you in a cage." But the Firebird didn't listen. It kept pecking the king until he fell to the floor unconscious. Alarmed, Ivan rushed to his father and stroked his face. The Firebird flew onto Ivan's hand, and suddenly he felt a surge of magic. He understood that the Firebird was trying to pass on its powers to him. Closing his eyes, he concentrated hard and sought about lighting up his entire kingdom. The next moment, his hands began to glow with warm light, spreading throughout the room. Opening his eyes, Ivan saw that the king had regained consciousness and the entire throne room was filled with bright light. From that day on, Ivan became known as a bringer of light. He and his sister Vasilisa ruled together, bringing prosperity and happiness to their people. And as for the Firebird, it continued to roam the skies, watching over the kingdom with its radiant light. The end. That was our story today. A girl in the audience asked me, "Why doesn't Vasilisa ever wear pants? Why does she wear dresses all the time?" Well, that's a great question, and I'm glad you've noticed. I think it's because she wants to feel pretty and beautiful. How do you feel beautiful? Well, maybe with a beautiful dress. Tell me, Which character was your favorite? Was it Ivan or the Firebird or maybe the Grey Wolf? Leave a comment below and tell us about yourself. What do you like to do for fun? Do you like playing outside or reading books or making up stories? Whatever you do, make sure to include kindness in every story you create, just like Ivan did. Remember, kindness is like a light that shines in the darkness. Thanks for watching and subscribing, and I will see you next time.